Hello, my friends. Welcome to this live session on my motivational story channel. I can't tell you how happy I am to see you all here today. The purpose of this channel is simple: to inspire you, to share stories that fill your heart with courage and bring fresh energy into your life.
Mistakes. You cannot keep punishing yourself for the things you didn't know back then. You were doing the best you could with the understanding, the tools, and the awareness you had at that time. Looking back with regret may feel like you're holding yourself accountable, but there's a difference between accountability and self-punishment. Real growth doesn't come from endlessly criticizing yourself. It comes from being honest about your mistakes, learning what you needed to learn, and then allowing yourself to move forward without dragging the weight of guilt everywhere you go. Forgiveness isn't about pretending nothing happened. It's about acknowledging what happened without using it as a weapon against yourself every day. Some wounds you carry weren't even created by others. They were built by your own repeated thoughts, reminders of moments where you felt you failed, fell short, or didn't measure up. And over time, those thoughts became internal stories, stories that say you're not worthy, not capable, not good enough. But none of those stories are facts. They're conclusions your mind drew when you were hurting and confused. You can't heal if you keep repeating those stories like they're your identity. If you spoke to a child the way you speak to yourself when you reflect on your past, would they feel safe? Would they feel loved? Chances are they'd feel scared, ashamed, and broken. That same inner child still lives in you. They still feel what you say. They still carry the sting of the words you use against yourself. The path to healing isn't paved with perfection. It's built on patience, and forgiveness is a form of patience, a deep, quiet decision to stop picking at the same emotional scabs. You might think that holding on to your mistakes will make you more responsible, that if you keep them fresh in your mind, you'll never mess up like that again. But that's fear disguised as control. You don't need to live in fear to grow. You need awareness, and awareness comes when you can look at your past with compassion, not condemnation. It takes strength to say, I did things I'm not proud of, but I'm not going to let those things define who I am now. That's not denial. That's evolution. The truth is, you will make more mistakes in life, and some of them might hurt others. Some might hurt you, but if you never give yourself room to be human, you'll live in a constant state of emotional paralysis. You won't trust yourself to make decisions. You won't take healthy risks. You'll shrink your life out of fear of repeating the past. That's not freedom. That's survival. Forgiveness opens the door to freedom. It allows you to breathe again, to feel again, to try again, without the voice of shame shouting over your every step. Think about the people you've forgiven in your life. Why did you let them go? Why did you decide their actions no longer needed to sit in the front row of your heart? Maybe it was love. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was time. Whatever it was, you knew deep down that continuing to carry resentment was too heavy. The same is true for your relationship with yourself. Self-forgiveness doesn't mean excusing everything you've done. It means acknowledging that no amount of suffering will rewrite the past. And if suffering won't change it, why keep suffering? There's a version of you that existed in your past who was hurting, lost, scared, or angry. That version may have made poor decisions, but would punishing them now bring healing? Or would it only create more inner division? You don't need to justify everything you've done. You just need to understand it. Look at who you were, what shaped your choices, and what you've learned since then. Then ask yourself, do I deserve peace now? If your answer is yes, then you have to give yourself permission to let go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. You may still carry memories. You may still feel regret. That's normal. But regret is not meant to be a permanent state of mind. It's meant to point you toward better decisions, deeper wisdom, and greater empathy for yourself and others. You become kinder when you stop fighting with your past. You start showing up in a more grounded way. Your energy softens. You become someone you can trust again. You're not the only one who's made mistakes, but you might be the only one who's still paying for them every day in your mind. That inner punishment cycle needs to stop, because it's keeping you from being fully alive. The shame you carry may feel like it protects you, but it also isolates you. It keeps you from connecting deeply with others, from receiving love without suspicion, and from experiencing joy without guilt. Forgiveness lets the sunlight in again. It says, I won't let old pain run my life anymore. Give yourself space to feel all the emotions that come up when you think about your past. Don't rush to numb them or hide from them. Feel them, understand them, and then gently place them down. Say to yourself, I am allowed to grow from this. I am allowed to move forward. Your worth doesn't disappear because of your lowest moments. If anything, your willingness to face those moments and still choose healing speaks to your strength. It means you're no longer interested in staying stuck in shame. If you wait until you're perfect to feel worthy, you'll wait forever. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be real, to be open, to be willing to heal. That starts with forgiving the version of you who didn't know what they know now. That version wasn't your enemy. They were trying. They were learning. They were surviving. And now, you get to do more than survive. You get to live fully, knowing that your past doesn't own you. So, talk to yourself with the same gentleness you offer others. Replace, I should have known better with I know better now. Replace, I ruined everything with I've learned what matters. Replace, I'll never forgive myself with I'm open to forgiving myself even if it takes time. Little by little, this shift in language becomes a shift in identity. You stop identifying with pain and start identifying with growth. You are not your worst decisions. You are not the voice of shame in your head. You are not stuck. You are someone who has walked through difficulty and is still choosing to show up, and that alone is worthy of grace. Offer that grace to yourself, not someday, but now. Not when you've earned it, but because you already deserve it. Your healing begins the moment you stop asking your past to define your future, and forgiveness is the door that leads you there. Chapter 10. Celebrate small wins to boost your confidence. It is easy to overlook the small steps you take every day because your focus tends to be on big goals or major achievements. However, celebrating small wins is one of the most powerful ways to build lasting confidence and motivation. These small victories are the building blocks of progress. When you acknowledge them, you reinforce your belief that you are capable, resilient, and moving forward. Ignoring them means missing out on important moments of growth and self-affirmation that can keep you energized on your journey. When you celebrate a small win, you are telling yourself that your effort matters, no matter how modest it seems. This shifts your mindset from feeling overwhelmed by what still needs to be done to feeling empowered by what you have already accomplished. Confidence is not something that appears out of nowhere. It develops slowly through repeated successes, no matter the size. Each time you recognize a small win, you strengthen your inner foundation and build momentum. Most people wait for a big achievement to feel proud, but waiting for that moment can leave you feeling stuck or discouraged. If you only celebrate the finish line, you ignore the many steps that made that finish possible. Every step counts, and recognizing them makes the bigger goal feel more achievable. It also helps break down overwhelming tasks into manageable parts, reducing anxiety and increasing focus. By focusing on small wins, you create a clear path forward, one that feels doable and rewarding. Sometimes a small win is simply choosing to start when you felt like giving up. It might be sending that email you've been avoiding, getting out of bed despite feeling tired, or sticking to a habit for one more day. These moments may not seem significant to others, but they are acts of courage and commitment. They show that you are choosing progress over comfort and resilience over surrender. Celebrating these actions reinforces your identity as someone who doesn't quit, someone who keeps trying even when things are difficult. Celebration doesn't have to be extravagant or public. It can be as simple as a quiet moment of recognition, a note you write to yourself, or a small reward you give yourself. The key is to pause and acknowledge your effort fully. This practice trains your brain to notice positive experiences, making you more aware of your strengths and potential. It helps silence the inner critic that often focuses on what's missing or what went wrong. Instead of self-judgment, you create space for self-appreciation. Building a habit of celebrating small wins also helps in setting realistic expectations. Life is rarely a straight line of success. It's filled with ups and downs. Recognizing small victories means you give yourself credit even on the days when progress feels slow. This prevents burnout and keeps your motivation alive. When you celebrate consistently, you create a positive feedback loop where achievement leads to confidence, and confidence leads to more achievement. It's important to define what counts as a small win for you personally. Your wins don't have to look like someone else's. They might be finishing a difficult conversation, resisting a negative thought, or making a healthy meal instead of fast food. When you clarify what success means in your own context, you avoid comparisons that can kill confidence. You start valuing your unique journey and the specific challenges you face. Celebrating small wins also strengthens your relationship with yourself. It teaches you to be your own cheerleader rather than your harshest critic. When you regularly recognize your effort, you communicate that your progress matters and that your feelings of accomplishment are valid. This nurtures self-respect and deepens your self-trust. You begin to believe that you are worthy of celebration simply for showing up and doing your best. In the process of celebrating small wins, it's helpful to keep a journal or record of these moments. Writing down your achievements, no matter how minor, makes them tangible. It allows you to look back on your journey and see concrete evidence of your growth. This can be especially encouraging during times of doubt or struggle, when it's easy to forget how far you've come. Reviewing your list of wins can reignite your motivation and remind you that progress is real and ongoing. Sharing your small wins with trusted friends or mentors can also boost your confidence. When you tell someone about a victory, you receive external validation that reinforces your internal recognition. Positive feedback from others can inspire you to keep moving forward. However, it's important that this sharing comes from a genuine place of celebration rather than seeking approval. Your sense of accomplishment should primarily come from within. Remember that confidence is a muscle that grows stronger with use. By regularly celebrating small wins, you exercise that muscle. Each win becomes a proof point that you are capable and competent. This gradual accumulation of confidence helps you face bigger challenges with greater courage. You start to believe in your ability to handle difficulties and to keep growing no matter what comes your way. Sometimes small wins are about breaking free from old habits or negative patterns. Each time you choose differently, each time you refuse to stay stuck in a limiting belief, you create a small victory worth acknowledging. Over time, these tiny changes add up and reshape how you see yourself and your potential. The act of celebration signals to your brain that change is possible and that you are the author of your own story. Celebrating small wins also teaches you to enjoy the journey, not just the destination. When your focus shifts from an uncertain future to the present moment, you experience more satisfaction and peace. You learn to appreciate the process of growth and to find joy in the effort itself. This mindset reduces frustration and impatience, allowing you to keep moving forward without getting discouraged. Confidence built through celebrating small wins creates a foundation for resilience. When setbacks happen, and they will, you have a reservoir of positive experiences to draw from. You remember times you succeeded, even in small ways, and you trust that you can do it again. This belief helps you bounce back faster and face difficulties with steadiness rather than defeat. You deserve to celebrate every step that brings you closer to your goals and your best self. Each small win is a reminder that you are making progress and that your efforts are not in vain. When you make this practice a daily habit, you transform your mindset from one of scarcity and self-doubt to one of abundance and self-confidence. This transformation changes how you approach life, making you stronger, more hopeful, and more alive. No matter where you are on your journey, start today by noticing one small thing you've done well. Give yourself credit. Feel the satisfaction of your accomplishment. Let it fuel you to keep going. Over time, these moments will add up to a powerful story of growth and success. And that story begins with your choice to celebrate the small wins that others often overlook. Chapter 11. Invest time in activities that bring you joy. Life often pulls you in many directions, leaving little time for what truly makes your heart feel alive. Yet investing time in activities that bring genuine joy is essential for a balanced and fulfilling existence. When you prioritize what lights you up, you recharge your spirit and create an inner reserve of happiness that sustains you through challenges. This is not about fleeting pleasures or distractions, but about engaging deeply with things that resonate with your core values and passions. Joy is a signal from your soul reminding you of what matters most, and responding to it is an act of self-respect and self-love. Many people believe joy is a luxury reserved for after everything else is done, but this mindset often leads to burnout and disconnection. When you put your needs and happiness last, life becomes a checklist of obligations rather than a rich experience. By intentionally carving out time for joyful activities, you reclaim control over your emotional well-being. This investment creates a ripple effect, improving your mental health, boosting creativity, and enhancing your relationships. Joy isn't just a reward, it's a vital part of the human experience that fuels your growth and resilience. It's important to recognize what truly brings you joy, not what others expect or what you think you should enjoy. This requires self-exploration and honesty. Reflect on moments when you felt most alive, engaged, and peaceful. Maybe it's spending time in nature, creating art, playing music, cooking, reading, or simply being with loved ones. Joyful activities vary widely from person to person, so avoid comparing your sources of happiness with others. Your joy is uniquely yours, and honoring that uniqueness is a powerful step towards self-acceptance. reading, or simply being with loved ones. Joyful activities vary widely from person to person, so avoid comparing your sources of happiness with others. Your joy is uniquely yours, and honoring that uniqueness is a powerful step towards self-acceptance. Sometimes, rediscovering joy means trying new things or revisiting forgotten interests. Life's demands can bury your passions under responsibilities and doubts. Giving yourself permission to explore without pressure allows you to reconnect with what makes you smile. Approach these moments with curiosity rather than judgment. Notice how your body and mind respond. Does your heart feel lighter? Does your energy rise? These sensations are clues pointing you toward meaningful engagement. Over time, you can build a personal toolkit of activities that reliably boost your well-being. Creating space for joy often means setting boundaries around your time and energy. Saying no to commitments that drain you is essential for protecting the time needed to nourish yourself. You deserve to prioritize activities that replenish your spirit without guilt or hesitation. When you consistently invest in joy, you communicate to yourself that your happiness matters. This reinforces self-worth and encourages you to maintain balance even during busy or stressful periods. Boundaries around joy are acts of kindness toward your future self. Engaging in joyful activities also strengthens your connection to the present moment. When you immerse yourself in something you love, your mind quiets and worries about past or future fade. This presence cultivates mindfulness, reducing stress and improving emotional regulation. Joy becomes a gateway to experiencing life fully, rather than merely surviving day to day. This deepened awareness enhances your capacity to appreciate simple pleasures and maintain balance even during busy or stressful periods. Boundaries around joy are acts of kindness toward your future self. Engaging in joyful activities also strengthens your connection to the present moment. When you immerse yourself in something you love, your mind quiets and worries about past or future fade. This presence cultivates mindfulness, reducing stress and improving emotional regulation. Joy becomes a gateway to experiencing life fully, rather than merely surviving day to day. This deepened awareness enhances your capacity to appreciate simple pleasures and find gratitude in ordinary experiences. Joy is often linked to creativity, and investing time in creative pursuits can unlock new perspectives and problem-solving skills. Creativity invites you to express yourself authentically, releasing bottled-up emotions and fostering personal growth. Whether you write, paint, dance, or invent, these activities provide a safe space for exploration and healing. They remind you that your voice matters and that your unique contributions enrich the world. Nurturing creativity is a profound way to cultivate joy while building resilience. Social connections are another vital source of joy. Spending time with people who support and inspire you nourishes your emotional health. Investing in relationships where you feel safe and valued amplifies happiness and reduces feelings of loneliness. Quality time with friends or family can be a joyful activity in itself. Sharing laughter, stories, and experiences creates lasting memories that uplift your spirit. Remember to balance your social life with moments of solitude to recharge and reflect. Physical activity is also a powerful way to bring joy into your life. Movement releases endorphins and improves mood, energy, and overall health. Find forms of exercise that you enjoy, whether it's walking, swimming, yoga, or dancing. When movement feels like a celebration of what your body can do rather than a punishment, it becomes a joyful ritual. Regular physical activity increases your stamina to face daily challenges and supports mental clarity, making it easier to appreciate other joyful moments. Investing time in joy means being intentional about your daily schedule. Block out regular periods for activities that uplift you. Treat these appointments with the same respect you give to work meetings or obligations. Consistency builds a habit that integrates joy into your lifestyle rather than leaving it as an occasional treat. Over time, this steady nourishment creates a foundation of happiness that sustains you even in difficult times. It's natural to feel resistance or guilt when prioritizing joy, especially if you've been conditioned to equate productivity with worth. Challenging these beliefs is crucial for your well-being. Recognize that rest, pleasure, and play are not indulgences, but necessary parts of a healthy life. When you honor joy, you increase your capacity to contribute meaningfully to others and to the world. You become a more present, compassionate, and energized version of yourself. Joy also cultivates gratitude and optimism. When you engage in activities that bring you happiness, you create positive experiences that accumulate over time. These experiences remind you that life has goodness, even amidst difficulties. This perspective helps you maintain hope and resilience when facing setbacks. Joy isn't naive or superficial, it's a deliberate choice to notice and celebrate what is good now. To deepen your investment in joy, practice self-awareness regularly. Notice how different activities affect your mood and energy. Keep a journal or mental log of what brings you satisfaction and why. Use this information to refine your choices and prioritize what truly serves your happiness. This ongoing process strengthens your connection to your authentic self and enhances your ability to make decisions aligned with your well-being. Finally, remember that investing time in joy is a lifelong commitment to yourself. It requires patience, curiosity, and courage to keep exploring and evolving. Your needs and interests may change, and that's natural. Embrace this fluidity and allow joy to guide you toward growth and fulfillment. When you consistently choose joy, you build a life rooted in authenticity, resilience, and deep satisfaction. This investment is one of the most generous gifts you can give yourself. Chapter 12. Surround yourself with people who support growth. The people you spend your time with have a profound impact on your mindset, habits, and overall direction in life. Surrounding yourself with individuals who support your growth is one of the most intentional choices you can make to foster continuous improvement. These relationships become a foundation that uplifts you when you struggle, challenges you when you get comfortable, and inspires you to aim higher. When you choose to be around people who encourage your best self, you create an environment where progress feels natural and possible. Supportive people don't simply cheer from the sidelines, they actively contribute to your development. They listen without judgment, offer honest feedback, and celebrate your successes without envy. This kind of encouragement makes it easier to take risks and face obstacles because you know you have allies. In contrast, surrounding yourself with negative or stagnant individuals can drain your energy and keep you stuck in patterns of self-doubt or complacency. Your social circle shapes your beliefs about what's possible and what you deserve. Choosing to be around growth-minded people also means evaluating your current relationships honestly. Some friendships or associations may have served you in the past, but no longer align with where you want to go. It's okay to let go of connections that limit your potential or bring more harm than good. This doesn't mean cutting people off harshly. It means setting boundaries and prioritizing your well-being. Sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do is create space for new influences that inspire transformation. Growth-oriented people tend to have qualities that encourage your own development. They are curious and open-minded, always seeking knowledge and improvement. They practice empathy and understanding, creating safe spaces for vulnerability and honest conversations. They are resilient, modeling how to handle failure and setbacks with grace. These traits not only benefit their own lives, but also create a ripple effect that benefits those around them. When you immerse yourself in this kind of energy, it becomes easier to adopt similar attitudes and behaviors. Engaging with people who support growth also expands your perspective. They challenge your assumptions and invite you to consider new ideas. This intellectual and emotional stimulation prevents stagnation and encourages innovation in your life. You begin to see challenges as opportunities rather than threats. You become more willing to explore your potential because you have examples of others who are doing the same. This kind of network acts as a powerful motivator and resource. It's important to be proactive in building these supportive relationships. Sometimes growth-minded individuals aren't immediately present in your current environment. You may need to seek out communities, groups, or mentors that align with your values and goals. This could be through educational workshops, professional networks, online forums, or local interest groups. Taking the initiative to connect with people who inspire you demonstrates your commitment to your own growth. It signals that you are ready to be part of a community that elevates rather than limits you. Supporting others' growth is also a vital part of this dynamic. Relationships thrive when there is mutual encouragement and generosity. When you celebrate others' progress and offer your support, you strengthen the bonds and create a positive feedback loop. This reciprocity builds trust and deepens connections. It also reinforces your own commitment to growth because you are actively engaged in a collective journey rather than a solitary one. Pay attention to how your social interactions affect your energy and mindset. After spending time with certain people, notice whether you feel inspired and uplifted or drained and doubtful. This awareness helps you make conscious choices about who to invest your time with. Energy is contagious, and choosing to engage with positive influences can transform how you approach your own challenges and opportunities. Sometimes growth-supportive relationships require vulnerability. Being open about your struggles, fears, and ambitions invites deeper connection and authenticity. It allows others to offer meaningful support rather than superficial encouragement. While vulnerability can feel risky, it is often the gateway to stronger, more supportive bonds. When you experience this kind of connection, you feel less alone in your journey and more empowered to continue pushing forward. It's also worth noting that the people you surround yourself with influence your habits and daily routines. Growth-minded individuals often have productive practices and positive mindsets that rub off on those around them. Being part of such a circle encourages you to adopt healthier habits, whether related to work, self-care, or learning. The shared commitment to improvement creates a culture of accountability and motivation that sustains long-term progress. Beware of relationships that bring negativity disguised as realism or tough love. While honest feedback is crucial, constant criticism or dismissal of your goals under the guise of protection can undermine your confidence. True supporters balance truth with encouragement. They help you see obstacles without losing sight of your potential. They push you to improve while reminding you to be patient and kind to yourself along the way. Building a circle of growth supporters does not mean isolating yourself from diverse perspectives. Different viewpoints can offer valuable lessons and challenge your comfort zone. The key is to maintain boundaries that protect your emotional and mental well-being. Engage with diverse ideas without allowing toxic influences to take root. Healthy relationships promote curiosity and respect, even in disagreement. Your commitment to surrounding yourself with growth-oriented people reflects your commitment to yourself. It's an act of self-care and strategic investment in your future. The company you keep shapes not only your opportunities but also how you see yourself. Being part of a community that believes in potential and transformation encourages you to believe in yourself. This sense of belonging and shared purpose becomes a powerful engine for sustained change. Finally, remember that you also have the power to be a source of growth for others. Your journey and progress can inspire those around you. By sharing your experiences, insights, and encouragement, you contribute to a culture of growth that benefits everyone involved. This mutual support creates a cycle of positive change that extends far beyond individual efforts. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, challenge you to grow, and celebrate your journey. Invest your time and energy in relationships that honor your path and inspire your best self. This intentional community becomes a cornerstone of your transformation and a vital source of strength on your way to becoming who you were meant to be. Chapter 13. Focus on progress rather than perfection always. The desire to be perfect can trap you in a cycle of frustration and self-doubt that stalls your growth and dims your confidence. Striving for perfection often sets impossible standards that leave you feeling like you never measure up. Instead, focusing on progress shifts your attention to the steps you take every day. No matter how small, that move you closer to your goals. This approach nurtures resilience and patience, helping you appreciate your efforts and build momentum. When you embrace progress rather than perfection, you create a sustainable path toward improvement without the weight of unrealistic expectations. Progress acknowledges that growth is a process, not a destination. It means recognizing that mistakes and setbacks are natural parts of learning, not signs of failure. This perspective allows you to be kinder to yourself and less afraid to try new things. When you focus on progress, you give yourself permission to be imperfect and to learn along the way. This freedom reduces anxiety and makes it easier to start, continue, and persist in your endeavors. Instead of being paralyzed by fear of making a wrong move, you become motivated by every step forward. Perfectionism often disguises itself as discipline or high standards, but it can quickly become a barrier. It encourages all or nothing thinking, where anything less than flawless feels like defeat. This mindset creates unnecessary pressure and robs you of the joy found in the journey. Progress, on the other hand, celebrates every effort and improvement, creating positive reinforcement that fuels further action. It allows you to break large goals into manageable pieces and feel accomplished regularly, which boosts your confidence and self-efficacy. Focusing on progress helps you maintain realistic expectations. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances don't always align perfectly. Holding yourself to a rigid standard ignores the reality of setbacks, distractions, and limits. Progress embraces flexibility and adaptability. It invites you to adjust your plans without feeling like you've failed. This mindset encourages perseverance because it values consistency over perfection. When you accept that progress is a series of steps rather than a straight line, you develop patience and long-term commitment. One practical way to focus on progress is by setting small, measurable goals. These mini goals act as checkpoints that let you see tangible results. Each time you meet one, it confirms that you are moving forward, which strengthens your motivation. Tracking your progress visually, such as with a journal or chart, can make these achievements more concrete. It's easier to stay motivated when you can see how far you've come, instead of only imagining a distant ideal. Celebrate your efforts and improvements regularly. Acknowledging progress builds positive habits and rewires your brain to seek growth. This practice reduces the tendency to dwell on imperfections or shortcomings. When you recognize and reward progress, you reinforce your belief in your ability to change and improve. Over time, this positive feedback loop fosters resilience and optimism, making challenges easier to face and setbacks easier to recover from. It's important to remember that progress isn't always visible or dramatic. Sometimes it's a quiet shift in mindset, a subtle change in behavior, or a small act of courage. These moments are just as valuable as major milestones. Appreciating incremental improvements cultivates a sense of achievement that sustains your drive. It teaches you to value effort and persistence, which are the true engines of growth. Comparing your journey to others can undermine your focus on progress. Social media and external appearances often highlight perfection rather than the behind-the-scenes work. When you compare yourself to an idealized version of someone else, you risk feeling inadequate and discouraged. Instead, measure your progress against your own past self. Reflect on where you were before and recognize the growth you've made. This internal benchmark keeps you grounded and motivated. Another benefit of prioritizing progress is that it fosters learning and experimentation. When perfection is the goal, you may avoid trying new approaches for fear of failure. Progress invites curiosity and innovation. It encourages you to explore different strategies, learn from mistakes, and adapt your methods. This mindset transforms setbacks into valuable lessons rather than proof of incompetence. With progress as your focus, you develop a growth-oriented outlook that embraces challenges and thrives on continuous improvement. Focusing on progress also nurtures self-compassion. You become less critical and more understanding toward yourself. When you slip up or fall short, you don't see it as a personal flaw but as a normal part of the journey. This gentleness fosters emotional resilience and reduces stress. It creates a healthier relationship with yourself, where mistakes become opportunities for reflection rather than triggers for shame. Self-compassion supports sustainable growth by encouraging persistence rather than perfection. To maintain focus on progress, practice mindfulness and self-awareness. Notice when your thoughts drift toward perfectionism or negative self-talk. Challenge those thoughts by reminding yourself of the value of small improvements. Ask yourself what you learned from the experience rather than what went wrong. This shift in perspective helps you stay grounded in the present moment and aligned with your growth goals. Mindfulness trains you to respond with curiosity and kindness instead of judgment. Setting intentions at the start of each day or week can help keep your focus on progress. Declare what you want to improve or accomplish, emphasizing effort and learning over flawless execution. Revisit these intentions regularly to track your progress and adjust as needed. This habit creates a rhythm of reflection and action that supports steady advancement. Intentionality strengthens your commitment to growth and reduces distractions caused by perfectionist tendencies. Surrounding yourself with people who value progress can reinforce this mindset. Seek out relationships and communities that celebrate effort and resilience rather than perfection. These environments provide encouragement, accountability, and inspiration. When others share their own struggles and growth, it normalizes imperfection and motivates you to keep moving forward. Social support is a powerful factor in sustaining a focus on progress. It's essential to redefine success in terms of growth rather than achievement. Success is not a fixed point or a flawless outcome. It's the continuous effort to become better. This redefinition frees you from unrealistic standards and opens the door to genuine fulfillment. When success is measured by progress, you acknowledge that every step, no matter how small, is meaningful. This mindset transforms your relationship with your goals and your sense of self-worth. In the end, focusing on progress rather than perfection creates a more enjoyable and sustainable path to growth. It allows you to celebrate the journey, build confidence, and cultivate resilience. This approach acknowledges your humanity and embraces your potential. When you commit to progress, you empower yourself to keep evolving, learning, and thriving, no matter the challenges you face. Chapter 14. Learn to say no and honor your limits. Saying no is a skill that many find difficult to master because it feels like rejecting others or risking disappointment. However, learning to say no and honor your limits is essential for preserving your energy, maintaining mental clarity, and protecting your well-being. Boundaries are not selfish walls, but vital lines that keep you aligned with your values and priorities. When you respect your limits and communicate them clearly, you create space for what truly matters and avoid overcommitment that leads to stress and exhaustion. Recognizing your limits requires honest self-awareness. It means paying close attention to your physical, emotional, and mental state without judgment. When you notice signs of fatigue, overwhelm, or discomfort, it's a signal that your limits are being tested. Respecting these signals helps prevent burnout and keeps you operating at your best. This awareness is the foundation for confidently saying no when something does not serve your well-being or goals. Saying no is an act of self-respect and self-care. It's a way of telling yourself and others that your time and energy have value. You do not have to explain or justify your boundaries extensively. A simple and firm no is enough to maintain your integrity and protect your space. When you practice this regularly, it builds your confidence and makes it easier to stand up for yourself in various situations. Many people struggle with guilt when saying no because they worry about letting others down or missing opportunities. This guilt often stems from cultural or personal beliefs that equate kindness with compliance. True kindness includes honesty and care for yourself. Saying no does not mean you are uncaring. It means you are preserving your ability to contribute authentically and sustainably. When you honor your limits, you show up as your best self, which ultimately benefits everyone around you. Setting boundaries also means being clear about what you can and cannot take on. It's helpful to define your limits proactively so you are not caught off guard by requests or demands. This clarity allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. When you communicate your boundaries with respect and assertiveness, you reduce misunderstandings and build healthier relationships. Others learn to respect your limits and appreciate your honesty. Learning to say no involves practicing direct and kind communication. Avoid over-apologizing or making excuses that dilute your message. Instead, express your decision clearly and calmly. For example, saying, "I can't take this on right now," is straightforward and respectful. You can also offer alternatives or suggest a different time if appropriate. This approach shows that you are thoughtful but firm about your boundaries. Honoring your limits is not just about refusing others. It also means saying yes to yourself. When you decline external demands, you free up time and energy to focus on your needs and priorities. This might include rest, creative pursuits, or activities that nurture your growth. Saying no creates room for what aligns with your values and aspirations. It supports a balanced life where you feel in control rather than overwhelmed. It's important to remember that limits are personal and can change over time. What feels manageable today might not be the same tomorrow, and that's okay. Regularly reassess your boundaries to ensure they reflect your current reality. Flexibility within limits allows you to grow while maintaining your well-being. Being in tune with your evolving needs helps you set boundaries that support your long-term health and success. Respecting your limits also includes monitoring your inner dialogue. Notice if you criticize yourself for saying no or pushing beyond your capacity. Replace harsh judgments with compassionate reminders that your limits are valid and necessary. This mindset shift fosters self-acceptance and strengthens your resolve to protect your boundaries. When you treat yourself with kindness, you build resilience and sustain your commitment to healthy limits. Learning to say no and honor your limits protects you from burnout and resentment. When you overextend yourself, you risk becoming exhausted and bitter, which affects your relationships and productivity. Boundaries help you maintain balance and clarity, making it easier to focus on what truly matters. They create a sustainable rhythm of giving and receiving that supports your well-being and personal growth. Practicing this skill can be challenging at first because it requires courage and sometimes facing pushback. Some people may resist your boundaries or try to guilt you into saying yes. Stay firm and remind yourself that your limits are non-negotiable. Seek support from people who respect your boundaries and encourage your growth. Over time, your consistent practice of saying no will earn respect and improve your overall quality of life. To strengthen your ability to say no, role-play scenarios where you practice declining requests. This rehearsal builds confidence and helps you find words that feel authentic and respectful. You can also prepare responses for common situations, making it easier to respond without hesitation. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to honor your limits without anxiety or guilt. Reflecting on past experiences where you said yes when you wanted to say no can provide valuable insights. Consider how those decisions affected your energy, mood, and outcomes. Use these reflections to motivate yourself to set firmer boundaries in the future. Learning from experience is a powerful tool for developing healthier habits around saying no. Embracing your limits and saying no when needed is a